Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. It's your girl Jazz, and as I promised you guys, I am doing a comparison between the Pulse. We got the 4 and the 5. I will also be doing a comparison between 3, 4, and 5, so make sure that you subscribe, as well as the link below for the individual reviews, so that way you can get more specific information for the two. Now, we're going to start out with the basic design of it, the look of it. Obviously, the Pulse 5 is bigger. I mean, if you can't see that, maybe you need to get your eyes checked. One of the things that I do like about the Pulse 5 is that it has this little carrying strand. The downside about it is I can't really even put, you know, you're pretty much going to have to hold it with one finger. Okay, that's kind of heavy. But it does have a nice, strong, sturdy grip to it. The fabric behind it is also pretty sturdy, and it does have a little bit of silicone to it as well. One of the downsides about the 5 is that, well, I'm going to show you on the 4 first. Maybe I can show you? Okay. It's up here. I'm actually used to dealing with the 3. I listened to that one a little bit more. I've had it a little bit longer, so I have different speakers in different rooms of the house, so I'm used to using the 3 in the bathroom when I'm taking a shower, so that's part of the reason why I'm kind of looking for it over here. But what I was looking for exactly is you have your play buttons right here, and so that way you can control play, pause, and then you've got your volume buttons here. You have absolutely nowhere to control that on the device itself for the Pulse 5. So the only way that you're going to be able to play, pause, and control the volume is through the app with the Pulse 5. So good and bad. However, there are still some buttons, so don't get me wrong, which are going to be on the Pulse 4 as well. So you got the 2 buttons over here on the side. You've got to control the lights. And guys, just so just give you a quick heads up, the battery life will last a lot longer without the lights. Of course, the fun of the speaker is the lights. But that was what this light button is for. And then you've got the party boost, which is going to be able to allow you to connect multiple speakers. So if you have, in this case, I've got the 4 and the 5, I'll be able to combine them and they'll be able to play the same song at the same time. As I did mention, it is heavier. I did try and find what kind of plastic or fiberglass, whatever you want to call this material on the outside is. I was not able to find it anywhere, either for the 3, 4, or 5 speaker, unfortunately. So I'm not able to give you that information. As far as battery life goes, I did mention that without the light, you are going to have a lot longer listening time. Of course, you got to worry about volume and things like that. It does last for about 12 hours. It's not going to guarantee that 12 hours of playtime, depending on what you're doing. Of course, depending on what you're streaming, whether it be a podcast, not sure why that matters, movies and things like that. Movies I can understand a little bit better, the difference, because some action scenes, you may have a lot of explosions, and it's going to cause, obviously, using more battery life and to boost that sound versus something that's kind of a little bit more, not necessarily monotone, but I guess same noise level, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. From what I've noticed and I've seen through some of the specs on these 2 speakers, my understanding is that the charge time actually is less with the 5. So the 4 is going to take about 4.5 hours to get a full charge, and again, that's with the dead battery. And the 5 is supposed to be 3.5 hours. I'm hoping I'm not getting this information confused, but it's very possible. It wasn't straight cut and dry of, how long it's going to go from 0 to a full battery charge, using a few different websites to get the information, including the JBL. So I will say that. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the speaker so you can see how prettiful it looks. And yes, I did say prettiful. That means that it's trying to connect Bluetooth. But you've seen it start up with the 4. Now we're going to do the 5. Bluetooth will be enabled. Alright, so I'm going to play a couple of songs on here so that way you can kind of hear a little bit of a difference. One of the great new features on the Bluetooth, or the Pulse 5, I say Bluetooth 5, the Pulse 5 is the fact that you can have ambient sound come from it. So I'm going to give you an example. So that's 3 different ambient noises that you can choose from. I did go a little bit more in depth with it on my Okay, now it sounds underwater. I did go a little bit more details with the ambient sounds on the individual reviews, so if you want to check that out and get a little bit more details, you can, but that is a new feature that they do have on the Pulse 5 that is not on the Pulse 4. So, I do have both of my speakers connected to my phone, and I'm going to start playing around with the Pulse 4 so that way you can see the lighting differences. So they have already quote-unquote shows built into it for the lighting. So you've got the spiritual, which is currently going on right now. This is the campfire, equalizer, my guess is better for whenever you're playing music. You've got the wave, and then you're able to customize it. You're actually, what's kind of cool is you're able to control how the lights are circulating, whether you want a more diagonal angle, whether you want it kind of more like a starburst where it has a central point and it burst out, and they call high, which I'm not sure what's the difference between mid and high colors. So you can play around with the colors as well. So I have it more of a yellow, if I want orange, got the red color, so you can customize it with all the colors of the rainbow, and you can actually have it looping as well. Right, so that was the 4, so now we're going to play around with the 5 and show you the lighting on that one as well. So this one has what they call, for the light shows, this one's nature, so different names. You've got party, where it's kind of just spiraling up from the top. You've got spiritual. You've got cocktail, weather. Okay, that really does look some pretty clouds outside. Wouldn't you like to see some clouds looking at that? To me, if you see that in the sky, you know, this portion right here, that's going to be a pretty good day. Now, if it gets any darker, then you kind of got to worry about it. All right, then you've got canvas, and you can edit it. I'm trying to see the differences between the two. Actually, two. There's multiple ones. This they call this one poetry for the canvas. This one's marshmallow. You got meadow. This one's lullaby. So you guys get the idea. You're able to customize it a little bit more. It seems like with the Pulse 4. And you can actually control the speed of the changing as well. So you can have it really, really slow. And that's what's going on with this one right now. Again, this is for the 5. And then you can have it really, really, really fast. But I think that this one might be too monotone to adjust that. Oh, one of the cool things about the 5 that I don't see with the 4, but I'm going to go back and double check real quick. Okay, so this is one feature that's specifically for the 5 only. I'm turning off the lights real quick so you can see it. This, again, is for the 5. So I showed you that the lighting for it, right? But there's actually a second light. And of course at night in the dark, it's going to show up a little bit better. You can see it down here. Hopefully you can see it pretty well. You can have either both the top and the bottom lights on, just one or the other, or you can have them both off completely. You can also control how light and dark it is. So you can see how I dimmed it. And of course you have your equalizer that you're able to adjust the bass and everything like that. But at the end of the day, having lights and everything like that is great. But what does it sound like, right, guys? That's probably what you're asking. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the lights again. So I think they're about the same color. I'm going to actually turn on what they call the party boost, which are able to adjust the speakers or have them play the same. So you can have it as a party, so you can have pretty much in different corners of the room or space that you're occupying, so you can kind of have more of a surround sound. Or you can actually have it stereo, so that way it bounces back and forth between the speakers. I'm having it in party mode. So we're connecting 4 and 5 together. Alright, now let's find some unlicensed music. I'm going to do the JBL Pulse 4 first, and let you hear it for maybe about 10-15 seconds, and then I'm going to switch back over to the Pulse 5 and I'm going to have the exact same 10-15 seconds, so that way you guys can hear the difference. So we're going to go ahead and start out with the 4. that was a 4. And I had the volume relatively the same and maybe off maybe like 1 or 2. Because you have that, if they have it between like 1 and 100. And maybe off like 1 or 2. But I got it as close as I possibly can at the same volume level. So we're going to switch over to the 5. I feel that bass difference. Seems like it has more of a bass to it. What do you guys think? Kind of, sort of. Now I'm going to play them both together and see if there is a difference. I'm going to push them a little bit further apart. See if I can feel a bass difference and all that. So let's connect them both. Also, with the when I mentioned doing the party boost and having the stereo, you can only do that if you have the same speakers. So I would not be able to demonstrate that on this video because I don't have two 4s or 2 5s or 2 3s or 2 whatevers. I only have one of each. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and connect to the 4, to the party boost, turn it on. Okay, that's weird. Now it's telling me that it's going to go back and forth, so we're going to try this out and see how it sounds. Nope, adding a different model will activate the party mode. Okay. Alright, so as I mentioned, you can only do stereo if it's the same speaker, which is kind of annoying, but oh well. What do you guys think? They're both playing at the same time. I'm ready for a vacation. I don't know about you guys. I'm kind of give you that Caribbean feel, huh? I'm going to increase the volume, guys, so be careful with your ears. Alright, so that little melody that it just had, where it had that little kind of drumming sound and then it had that little dink at the end, I actually felt more bass on the 4, on that little melody part, than I did with the 5. It seems like they're catching different basses on that one. So after that bass dropped, I felt it more on the 5. So kind of giving you guys a little bit of a, I guess, bass kind of comparison between the two. So it seems like they're picking up different bass levels. But I'm going to go ahead and continue playing on a little bit more and see if there's any more differences that I can actually point out. Blast. I like the fact that you can actually tell about where the volume is when you're adjusting it. So you see how the lights dim down? I hear more of the, I guess, treble from the Pulse 4 than I do with the 5. Let me see if I can find another quick song so I can give a little bit better comparison between the two. Alright, I'm going to do one more song and we're going to be able to compare the two. So far, just what I've heard with that last song, it depends on what you're looking for as far if you want more of that high-pitched treble. So it seems like more of the bass, that lower hitting registers are hitting on the 5 versus the 4. So if you do want more of that bass, it seems in the lower hitting registers, it's definitely going to be the Pulse 5 for you. But like I said, I'm going to play more of a piano, light, whimsical tune now, so that way maybe we can hear a little bit of a difference. We're going to see. What do you guys think? I'm going to go ahead and turn off all the lights so you guys can see the spectacular light show that JBL is going to put on for you in here in a minute. So we're going to turn off the lights real quick. And here's some good bass. So this is the lighting that I can show you. Also, I do want to point out and kind of bring to your attention, pay attention to this bottom light right here. I'm going to go ahead and turn up the volume, but I want you to see the difference as far as the light shows go. I've got it as equivalently as I can because they do have different light shows, but I do want to point out mainly that on the Pulse 5 you have the bottom light show right here that I'm kind of covering up that you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and turn up the volume and let's enjoy the light show. Wow, okay, it's a little bright in here. Can we go back to the... Do y'all mind if I do videos in the dark from now on? Because I think that'd be great. Okay, I don't care. Call me a vampire. I don't care. I just like the dark. Actually, I'd prefer a bat to be preferred to a bat rather than a vampire because I need food. And vampires don't need food. So, anyways. I don't know. After that, I'm not sure if I'm ready to go to the club or go to bed. But overall, I think these are both great speakers. It seems like there's a little bit of a... I'm not sure if it's because of the app or what, but it seems like the Pulse 5 took maybe a second of a difference to connect and to maybe pick up the volume or adjust to the music, so to speak. So, I'm pretty sure you won't notice if it's just one speaker by itself, but I'm also, like I said, I'm comparing response time to the app for both of the speakers. I do know that since it is two speakers, it could cause maybe a delay. I'm not sure what the case is. Or it could be simple user error, phone error, don't know. Yes, I own up to my own errors when I make them, which is very rare. Hardly ever, never make them. Thank God y'all don't see the unedited videos. Now my editor just rolled his eyes at me. I know he's tired of me. But anyways, like I said, both of these are really great speakers. It all depends on how much you want to pay for it. Personally, I would rather go for the 4 because more likely it's going to be cheaper. I want to say it's about maybe $100, give or take. If you could find it new, I'm not sure. I do know it was about $200 when it first came out. So if you do look at the link below for the full review on just the 4, the price is subject to change because obviously the 5 has since come out. And if I recall correctly, the 5 is about $200. So obviously you're not going to buy the 4 for $200 if the 5 is out now for $200 because that just wouldn't make sense. But overall, like I said, they're both great speakers. One of the good things about both of these speakers is they are water resistant. I don't want to say waterproof because if they are submerged after I think maybe a meter, especially for an extended period of time, pretty much you can go ahead and kiss the speaker goodbye. It also is dust proof as well. So if you do take it out to the beach, you don't have to worry about getting sand in there and messing up the speaker as well. I want to say that's for sure for the 5. I don't think there was a rating for the 4 as far as dust proof, dust resistance, however you want to phrase it. So that's one added benefit that you have with the 5, and it also is a step up, so you're going to have a little bit more protection with the, I think this is IP7 on the 5 and the IP6 for 4. But as always, if you have any other additional questions that I haven't answered, hopefully I did. You got the individual reviews for each of these speakers down below, and if any questions that I have, let me know. I think I covered everything. If not, feel free to ask. If I don't know the answer, I'll just blatantly probably make something up. But go ahead and subscribe. And as always, stay tuned, stay jazzy. Thanks for watching, guys.